Jerusalem, Iero Solima, meaning the holy Solima, was originally Greek with a temple to the god Zeus. Now we know that there are Hebrew linguists that wrote a 900-page book. You can find it on the internet. It's on PDF form. And the title of the book was Hebrew is Greek with a Mask On. A lot of words, for example, Jericho, meaning Jericho, meaning holy sound, Hieros hijos, or even the Jordan, Yordani, meaning the holy water of the Dan, Dan meaning judge, as the same in Hebrew, Dan means judge. And Thave, meaning pray, David, meaning pray. And in Hebrew, you'll find even today rabbis in the English language talking about the Hebrew religion, the religion of the Hebrews, and they say Thave, meaning pray. David, as we know, wrote the book of Psalms. David, the second king of Israel. Now this location of Jerusalem, Iero Solima, the fact that Jerusalem before the occupation by the king of the Jews, David, was a Greek city is testified to us by most ancient writers. Even the Jewish historian Josephus calls the city by its real name Solyma. But Herodotus tells us that Solymas were descendants of the Cretans, the people from the island of Crete. Now of these, the Caris came to Epirus from the islands because in the past they were subjects to Minoan with the name Lelagus, and they lived in the islands. We're talking about the islands of the Aegean. As for the Lycians, their ancient origin is Crete, but they fought for the kingdom of Crete with the children of Europe, Sarpedon and Minos, and in the dispute, Minos prevailed and expelled Sarpedon along with his followers. And they, when he drove them out, went to Asia, to the regions of Milias, because the country where the Lycians live today was formerly called Milias, and the Milias were then called Solymos. Later, the Solymos settled in the country of Palestine, where they founded the city at the foot of Mount Zion. The name Zion also comes from the Doric word Sios, which means God. On the top of that mountain, they also built the temple of the patron god of the city, the greatest god to the Greeks. The temple was called Theos Solymos. After the occupation of the city in 1026 BC by David, they demolished the temple of Zeus, on the ruins of which Solomon built his eponymous temple, the first temple, where he moved the Ark of the Covenant. Solyma, the Jews in the Old Testament called them Salem or Jerusalem. Hence, Jerusalem, Josephus writes in his Jewish Archaeology. And because in the time of Abraham, our ancestor, the city was called Solyma, many say that Homer also called them Solyma, and the nickname Holy was added to the Jews by the Jews later. It was during the time that with the army of Jesus against the Canaanites in the war, during which the Canaanites held the city, which Jesus distributed to the Jews, whoever did not succeed in driving the Canaanites from Jerusalem until David besieged it. Much later, during the Hellenistic era, the city was purely inhabited by Jews, but polis, based on Greek, the city that is, based on Greek criteria, could not be accepted because it had neither a municipality nor a parliament, nor the main conditions to have the rights of a city. It had neither a gym, nor a youth center, nor a school, nor a market. Only when the Greek-speaking high priest of the city, Jason, later created those conditions, Antiochus III granted it the right to be called a city. However, this return of the old capital enraged the Maccabees, who rose up against the Greek cities with the violence known from history, which lasted over a century. And the book of the Maccabees, there are, I think, 3 or 4 books of the Maccabees in the Old Testament. And in there you will also see that it's written that the ancient Spartans are actually Hebrews. This is all our spiritual inheritance, so we should be aware of that. If you have time, you can read the books of Maccabees. It's in there. Or you can listen to it on the internet. You'll find the book of the Maccabees on the internet, on YouTube as well. So this is the history of Jerusalem, Iero, SOLYMA, the city of SOLYMA, Salem, SOLYMA. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.